This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Tuesday, May 28th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about this morning is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So, very, very interesting. I don't know if this is a glitch, and just to kind of give us an idea of what we're going to be looking at coming into the open of the market. As of right this second, Bama has 0 shares being traded, which I just have like a very, very hard time believing that. I know you guys had put that in the chat before, but as we're looking at it, I mean, there's nothing going on. I even had to check to make sure that we had our I had the time frame right, but yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like, and just pretty much almost everything else out there, just very, very light volume coming in, but to be expected, especially from how slow that Friday was. And then also coming in, coming back from a 3-day weekend. But let's talk about what we actually have on our list. First thing is BMRN. So coming in, we do have our buying that's sitting here at 91.50 and 90. Now, we can definitely already tell, obviously, this is going to have a way bigger range than usual. On average, trade $2.41. This morning, we're talking about all the way down from 83 up to 92. So, you're talking about an $11 range that we already have coming in. Now, one thing that we do want to look at, if we come back over here, you can see that 85 level from early this morning, 737, 738. We have those bid prints that came in at 85. So I'm really going to be expecting this thing to pull back to at least this double bottom right here. Don't get me wrong, it did pull back from that 85 level all the way to 83. So it was a $2 move back, but from when the actual prints came out, you can see right there, it came to the 84. So about a dollar pullback based off its range. It's going to be like a TLRY. I mean, you can see right here, you have 100 shares, you have 100 shares that are coming in. I mean, there's just no orders out there whatsoever. So a dollar pullback just really isn't as much as I would expect, even from 3 prints that are coming back into there. So going to be expecting at least towards that double bottom and then to come back towards that buying that we have, because you can see that 87 level, then we have 89, 90, and 90 and 91.50 to come back up towards that top level. Very odd, just because it really doesn't usually have much volume. You can see on average it trades about 1 million shares, and we already have 512,000 shares this morning. So once again, there's going to be a lot more. Does this influence the ATR? Does ATR, does that reset at open? Does past range apply? Yeah, okay, so past range, it's highs and lows of the open market. The pre-market has nothing to do with it, especially because it's way easier to actually move a stock during the pre-market than it is during the actual market, just because there's really not much that's going on out there. So a lot of this range, you can see how broken up the chart itself is. A lot of this range, even though 512,000 shares, is happening with with a real lack of actual trading volume. So 81.50, we can see we're starting to have some covering coming back in, but really we want to focus on those bigger prints. Even though, remember, on a stock like this with such thin orders, this is a very important to look at this smaller burst in the actual time and sales, just because of the fact that there's not much out there to actually trade. Next thing to look at is AMD. So AMD is not one of my favorite stocks to trade, just because usually it trades a ton of volume. If we come back over here, you can see on average trades 70 million shares. So usually the prints are very, very mixed, but we can see 1.5 million shares already. It's definitely going to be hot today. I'm going to be expecting more than a dollar range, but coming back over to that 8 o'clock, you can see there's only one Laker color and there's only one yellow print that's in there. But at that 8 level, you can see from pretty much 27.05, 27 itself. And then our highs we can see are about 20, pretty much almost exactly the same. So we're going to be bullish above 27. We're going to be bearish below. This is one of those stocks that it's definitely going to be a harder one to read. It takes a lot of feel and a lot of just really kind of that technical analysis and variables to understand where it's going to be going. But overall, a little bit mixed, but we do have some buying at that 27 level. But once again, bullish above and then bearish below. And then by BIOC, I'm not a big fan of this stock, especially because a lot of times when we see it move during the pre-market, we just don't really get much after that. It kind of just dies out a little bit, but we can, definitely over range, looking like we're going to see a lot more out of this than we typically do. The only thing, like I said, is the print. The reason I'm not a big fan is because the prints are just always very, very mixed. You can see around this 150 level, just, there's a huge amount of selling, then there's a huge amount of buying, then a huge amount of selling. So very hard to find a definitive show of hand that comes into it, but it's definitely going to give us a lot more than, it already has given us a lot more than it typically does at that 11 cent range. It's just like I said, I wish that we had a little bit more at that 150 level. You have a little bit of burst. It actually started out with selling, so we kind of pushed up from that, and now we're still holding. So it has the variables to be able to come back up. We just don't have an actual, like I said, definitive show of hand there. So overall, that's pretty much all that I'm seeing out there. Let's take a look at our scanners. Let's see if anything new has came out. BIRC we just talked about. NCTY, absolutely nothing going on there. JMEI, same type of deal. And this is pretty much what they all look like. Just kind of, so we have some things that jumped up, but they're just very scattered within their trading. Not really anything that I see that's really giving us some solid volume that's in there. Now we also have Momo. Momo jumped up again, but if you look at the actual prints, there's just not really much out there. Now don't get me wrong, above 27, it does have pretty much almost all buying, but there's not really anything definitive. Not someone that's adamant about my position needs to go in any specific direction. NIO, same type of deal. Yeah, it jumped up a little bit, but the range 35 cents, and it's another one where it's way too mixed. There's nothing for us to really follow. And then BYND, and it's making a little bit of a move, but again, just no real prints there, and that that's obviously what we're going to need. So this morning, we know this coming back from a 3-day weekend, it's going to take a lot of patience. And then we go over to the loser side of things, OTLK, and absolutely nothing. And then BMRN, the only other thing that we've already spoken about. Of course, can we take a look at Tesla? So Tesla is coming back. Well, Tesla made its pullback all the way down to that 189 level, a little bit underneath there, and then started pulling back up. But remember, above that 198, 199, we have a bunch of buying at 200. There's a bunch of buying that's above there during the pre-market, 137,000 shares, which isn't terrible. It's just there's just no real prints that have came in this morning. 192, 30, and 40. Both have 1,000 shares. So overall, we still need to get back up above there. Okay, don't get me wrong. The day afterwards, we did get up. So if we come back over here, you can see, when we opened up in the market, it's not going to let me. Let's get there. Yeah, for some reason, it's not letting me go back. But the day that we opened up the day after we opened up the pre-market, it was like at 202, but the amount of buying that we saw just was not enough. I mean, there's no way that amount of buying going up to 202 was even close to enough for all those buying prints to be satisfied. No, there's no one that's going out there for $4 and buying that many shares. It just got way too big of a range. You could see, on Friday, $11.23, $9.23 on average. So we still do need to get higher above that 200 level. When I was talking about 220, we're going to start at 205, but overall we definitely need to get back up above there. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Anything else good that's going on that I do not see? Because they're just, we got some movement, don't get me wrong, overnight, but there's just no real definitive show of hands yet. And once again, to be expected, it's just going to take patience. Once the market opens, we're going to kind of take it from there. There's not any, as of right this second, I don't have a definitive game plan of what I'm going to be looking to trade once the market opens. So we're going to have to wait for that to come back in. And obviously, as soon as I see it, I will make sure I put it out in the chat. All right, guys, so let's get ready for the morning. I know some of us, or some of you, were probably a little bit hung over. I saw some of the stories that went on this weekend. I hope everybody is safe and everybody is ready. So once again, just patience. It only takes that one. There's no reason to rush into anything. Let's make sure we find that show of hand and we take it from there. All right, guys, happy trading.